Undirected team. How's it going, y'all? I am Dotsale, the undirected guy. We gotta talk about this team. I just want to start off by saying that, life is all about how you perceive it. Now, you can be an absolute criminal, but in your mind, believe that what you're doing is legal. You've seen it with many cases throughout history where people will do atrocious things in society, but they'll have a reasoning within their mind that doesn't necessarily match with reality that would say that what they're doing is moral and right. And usually there is a group of people, or at least a few people, that agree with them. And that's one of the cool things about YouTube is there's going to be people that agree with me on things that I say, and then there's going to be people that don't. Now, usually what we base it off of is majority. So if you can go 51%, we use it in elections. 51% majority usually puts you in the section of this is okay, or we're going to accept it, or we're going to move forward with the way that you're doing things. So you just got to get to that 51 percentile. You don't have to have everybody agree with you. Now, the situation we have with these 7 arrested in a 20 million laundering scheme where they were able to exploit places like Home Depot and Menards to sell the merchandise that they got illegally through gift cards and credit card scams to sell to legitimate businesses that bought the products from them, believing that they were dealing with ethical businessmen that were just giving them the materials that they needed at a discounted price. Well, the businessmen that were actually legit, that paid, they were getting a deal. That's why they were dealing with these guys. And then these guys were getting the products illegally, but I guess technically selling them legally to legitimate businesses to help people. So it comes into that morality part of it, of at what point is it good and what point is it bad? This is somewhat of a robbing Peter to pay Paul, or maybe, a Robin Hood story, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. It could be something like that. They're necessarily helping out legitimate businesses by giving them a discount on the materials that they need, but they are stealing those materials technically to get them in the first place. So we're going to watch this story and we're going to discuss and see where we get to on this, because it's a very interesting conversation. And team, I absolutely need your help on this one, okay? So if you can chime in the comments and let me know what you think about the story and how you feel about the whole morality part of it, and how do you assume what's wrong and what's right, and can you take a wrong and make it right? That's what we'll discuss as we go through this. But let's go here and watch the story. Got it right here. Let's play
tonight in connection with a multi-million-dollar money laundering scheme.
Prosecutors say it involves scamming people into buying gift cards and then using them to buy products that they would then resell.
All right, Fox 5's Jody Goldberg with the details.
They were caught in the act. 7 men now charged in a $20 million money laundering and conspiracy scheme.
These defendants allegedly used tens of thousands of Home Depot and Lowe's gift cards that were obtained fraudulently through a computer-based scam.
A scam that targeted more than 1,800 victims in 45 states. Officials say the men used the gift cards to buy things like copper pipes, steel cables, and hot water heaters. They would then resell them to local plumbing supply and home improvement businesses.
Some victims, many elderly, were told that their information had been used to purchase child sexual abuse material and were instructed to call a specific number.
Officials say the defendants were responsible for over 6,000 transactions on more than 400 dates at over 80 locations, including this one.
They would sometimes visit the same location twice in one day. The pattern got to be so big that it stood out.
Investigators recovered supplies in the defendant's vans, $100,000 cash, along with high-end jewelry and handbags. Skylin used more than 50 gift cards to buy over $50,000 worth of pipes in one day. His attorney had no comment. 6 of the defendants walked out on cashless bail.
We have thousands of victims that are out there. If we're going to be able to prosecute these people, we got to keep them where they belong. And that's in jail. That's where they should be.
Officials offer this advice.
If someone calls you and identifies themselves as a government employee, a bank representative, or a representative of an internet or software company, and asks you for money, I'm telling you, hang up the phone.
The men pleaded not guilty and face a max of 15 years in prison if convicted. Officials are looking into the computer scam and say at least 5 others are involved. In Nassau County, Long Island, Jody Goldberg, Fox 5 News.
Shout out to Fox 5 for the story. Fox 5 got it in New York. And, well, so there's a lot going on here. So what we'll do is we'll go back through this and we'll discuss piece by piece. I wanted to play the whole story straight through so everyone could get an opportunity to understand what's going on. And now let's go back through it and break down every piece of this, because there's a lot going on here, team. There's a lot to discuss, and it's very, very interesting. So let's do that.
Connection with a multi-million-dollar money laundering scheme.
Prosecutors say it involves scamming people into buying gift cards and then using them to buy products that they would then resell.
All right, Fox 5's Jody Goldberg with the details.
They were caught in the act. 7 men now charged in a $20 million money laundering and conspiracy scheme.
As I've been saying.
What happened
Two
there?
people under arrest.
Oh.
Two people under arrest tonight in connection with a multi-million
Act. 7 men now charged in.
All right, we go. All right, so this might be a little tough, all right?
Judge my physical, my physical as well as my mental fitness.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
All right, we're gonna try to pronounce all their names. Let's have a little fun here, team. Let's try to pronounce all their names. Now, you can practice this exercise as well on the other side of your computer screen or phone screen or TV screen, whatever you want to do. We're going to start out with the first guy up here in the top left corner. I'm going with Jylin. Okay? We're going to go with the second guy, Sky. That's easy enough. Koon Heng Lin. Sky Koon Heng Lin. All right? We're going to go with Yulin on the third guy. We're going to go with Hey Tao Lin for the fourth guy on the top. All right? It's going to get a little more fun as we go down. All right. Now, this guy is similar. What did we say? We said Ji Lin for the first one. Jylin. All right, we're going to go with Jia Bin Chen. All right, that's fun to say. And we're going to go with Lixi Wang. And then we're going to go with Lifa Wang. Now, I'm trying to figure out if these guys are all right, so just looking at this mugshot, all right, I think somebody's going down. Who do you think's going to go down, team? You got a couple seconds to figure it out. Who do you think is going down? Out of these 7 guys. All right. Time's up. And why do you think this guy's going to go down? Well, we noticed something about all these guys. The first 4, they all got the same last name. The last 2, they got the same last name. For some reason, Jia Bin Chen. He's the only one with a Chen last name. Now, I'm going to have to figure that if they're going to throw anybody under the bus as the ringleader, it's going to be the guy that's not family to anybody here, which would be Chen. What y'all think, team? I don't know. It's not looking good for Chen. Even in his mugshot, he looked like the only one that's uncertain about what's going on. And by the way, Sky looks like a guy that you don't want to mess with. He looks like the enforcer out the bunch. Chen does kind of look like the ringleader, though. Just looking at him, he looks like he either him or Liffa. Either him or Liffa are the ringleaders. And then we're going with Sky as the enforcer. He's the what do you call it? The live wire out the group. All right, let's see what else we got.
In a $20 million money laundering and conspiracy scheme.
These defendants allegedly used tens of thousands of Home Depot and Lowe's gift cards that were obtained fraudulently through a computer-based scam.
A scam that targeted more than 1,800 victims in 45 states. Officials say the men used the gift cards to buy things like copper pipes, steel cables, and hot water heaters. They would then resell them to local plumbing supply and home improvement businesses.
Some victims, many elderly, were...
So what's up? So what are we doing with the ones that bought this stuff? Are they going to be receiving stolen property charges? Because I know that's a real thing. You can't necessarily buy things, and there's a gray area here, but most of the time, you know, when you're buying property that probably is illegitimately got, and these businesses, plumbing businesses that understand that they need this material. I mean, let's say 100% for copper wire is $100, right? And they're getting it from them for $70, right? And they're wondering, well, how are they able to sell it to us at such a steep discount and we can't get it anywhere else but from them at that price? Well, they're going to have to a lot of times figure that they're getting it illegitimately. Now, I will say this. Asians, they tend to find a way to get their products cheaper. We can use a site like Temu, for instance, right? When you look at a site like Temu, or Temu, some call it, their products tend to be a lot cheaper than Amazon, for instance, right? And definitely what's going on in the stores. Because China, they're able to use cheap labor and different things like that to keep their costs down. If you ask anybody that runs a business, they're usually going to say that labor costs for their workforce is going to be the most expensive part of what they need to pay out. And so they might have actually thought, yo, they're getting this stuff from China and they're giving us a deal based off of that. So I don't know what's happening with the businesses, but you know, they're definitely implicit in this one way or the other. See what else we got.
Were told that their information had been used to purchase child sexual abuse material and were instructed to call a specific number.
Officials say the defendants were responsible for over 6,000 transactions on more than 400 dates at over 80 locations, including this one.
They would sometimes visit the same location twice.
Here's my problem with these guys. Now, again, we got to bring it here because this is actually a disguise that they can use being Asian. If you look at Asians in Asia or even in America, they oftentimes wear masks. Remember we had the whole pandemic thing going on and everybody's wearing masks over their face? You know, the mask covering the cover like this much of your face. These guys can get away with wearing masks, not only just because they're Asian, but because of the climate that we're in. I mean, you still see people wearing masks often to this day. I see it all the time. For them to go in there barefaced just shows the level of audacity that they had within committing their crimes. Now, I'm actually believing that these criminals right here believe that what they were doing was a legit operation. They were going into these stores with all the confidence in the world and actually playing a part. And because of that, they were able to get away with it for a very long time because everybody believed that what they were doing was legitimate because they presented such confidence within this scam that it was hard for anybody to believe that they were actually criminals in a huge, huge, illegitimate laundering scheme. Let's keep going.
In one day, the pattern got to be so big that it stood out.
He got the gloves on.
Investigators recovered supplies in the defendant's vans, $100,000 cash, along with high-end jewelry and handbags. Skylin used more than 50 gift cards to buy over $50,000 worth of pipes in one day. His attorney.
He bought $50,000 worth of pipes in one day. That is insane. But actually, it's also not uncommon, right? Because they make a lot of big bulk purchase sales at these places like Lowe's and Home Depot. My thing is, though, with the criminals, why every time that you commit crime, and I think I got a theory on this, but why is it that you always have to buy a whole bunch of unnecessary things you don't need? Like, that's why when I think about money and having too much of it, there's really no reason for it. I mean, it's always good to have an abundance of money, right? Abundance is great for the most part. However, when you get too much of it, you don't even know what to spend it on. You start buying dumb stuff. Like for me, for instance, I got these earrings in, right? I got this chain. This does nothing for me. Wearing this gold chain, it means nothing. If I had it on, I'm the exact same person. If I took these earrings out, I'm the exact same person. I'll do the rest of the stream without them. We're going to take them out. Nothing changed, right? And my thing is this. Is it because we have an overabundance of things that we don't need? These guys got greedy. And I'm pretty sure he's committed some more crimes than just money laundering schemes, because he looks like he's out here taking the competition out in the worst way. But that actually makes me think, like, you know, as I continue to make more money, will I get to a point where, and I'm getting my money legitly, but will I start to make unnecessary purchases, things that I haven't needed up to this point? Will I just want to get it, right? Well, all of a sudden, I just start riding around in a McLaren when I've been fine with the vehicle I've had up to this point. Will I just start wearing unnecessary? Will I just get a big dotsale Director guy chain just sparkling in diamonds looking like Jalen Hurts at his press conference? I don't know. But there's something to be said that when you have too much money, you start to make really, really strange decisions. And you see with these guys.
Attorney had no comment. 6 of the defendants walked out on cashless bail.
We have thousands
bail.
of victims that are out there.
Come on, man.
Now to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
How y'all give them a cashless bail? I'm assuming. Let me make sure, actually. Let me just look. I'm just going to check. What is cashless bail? Cashless bail, also known as no cash bail or pre-trial release without monetary conditions, means individuals can be released from jail before trial without paying any money, focusing instead on risk assessment and community safety. These guys got caught with $100,000 cash. All right. They are, look, at the time of me recording this, I would be surprised if not all of them have fled the country. At this point, if all the money that they've made, they can go live somewhere very, very comfortably and not have to work anymore. They can get this money out the country, and I'm pretty sure they've already been sending money out of the country to their home country. Because at worst, these criminals are first to second generation Americans. So they definitely have ties within other countries, right? They look like English is not their first language, and that's fine. But to give them a cashless bail with no conditions, I'm not hearing anything about revoking a passport or anything like that. Well, based off of the sentence that they could get, which will probably be light if they're giving them a cashless bail in the first place, but they could end up doing anywhere from 5 to life in prison. I doubt it'd be that much, but they did plead guilty. So if they go to trial and get convicted of the max, they could be spending 30 years in prison, which probably isn't worth it. I would rather just go back to wherever I'm from outside of America and escape having to deal with any punishment here.
If we're going to be able to prosecute these people, we got to keep them where they belong. And that's in jail. That's where they should be.
Officials
Ain't that your decision?
Advice.
If someone calls you and identifies themselves as a government employee, a bank representative, or a representative of an internet or software company and asks you for money, I'm telling you, hang up the phone.
The men pleaded not guilty and face a max of 15 years in prison if convicted.
Oh, they said it right there.
Officials are looking
15 years in prison max. I mean, if it's 15 max, they're definitely not getting the max unless they go to trial. They'll probably get a plea deal. They're probably looking at somewhere between 2 to 5 years in prison. It's really not worth it for them to run, I guess, at that point, because then they'd never be able to come back to America. I think they're pretty much good. I do have to say this about the police, though. Police, y'all took an L, bruh. Y'all did all this recon to catch these guys, and then you allowed them to leave on a cashless. You allowed them out of jail on a cashless bail. They've defrauded people for 20s of millions of dollars. Now, people might say it's only money. Well, the issue is that the money that we make, we give our life to get it. So the majority of people, I would say like almost every person in the world, maybe a few exceptions, trade their time and their life in for money. So let's use somebody that works at Walmart, for instance. He'll work at Walmart and he'll get, we'll say, $20 an hour. So he goes to Walmart to make $100 and he gives 5 hours of his life. Now, if somebody scams him out of $100, they basically just took 5 hours of his life. So what happens is you're basically killing somebody by taking their money, assuming that they work for it in a legitimate way. And these guys did not. They scammed for it. It took them a fraction of the time to take the money that it took them a full amount of the time. So when they take $100 from you in a 5-minute phone call saying that your card was used for child pornography, and then they're able to manipulate your phone or your credit card to use to buy gift cards to steal stuff, it takes them 5 minutes to steal $100 from you. It takes you 5 hours to get $100. Now, I'm using it on a very, very minimum scale, but we're talking probably on average, they're getting people for $500 to $1,000. I mean, Sky by himself, right below me, this guy right here, let me blow him up real quick. Let's give him the credit that he deserves. This guy right here, that's probably already on his way out of the country or already there, he spent $50,000 in one single transaction on copper pipes. That's a lot of hours stolen from somebody's life and them working. So, you know, all of this just goes to say that there's a lot more problems than just the criminals. And I believe that the police and the justice system are implicit in all of this. However, there's not much I can do about it but report it and talk about it. Now, I do want to hear from y'all, team. I absolutely do. And by the way, y'all are the best team. Y'all are the best audience on the internet. I appreciate y'all, team. We are going to go to Undirected Perspective. We're going to go to Undirected Perspective. We are going to go light for this one. And the reason that we're going to go light for this is because if the police don't care, I don't care either. I don't care either. If the police do not care, why should I? Why? They don't care. They're allowing the criminals to get away with this. The sentence is way too light. They took 15 years. We just broke it down. The average person in America probably makes somewhere around, well, I'll get the number for you exactly. What is the average hourly pay of American citizens? The average hourly pay of an American citizen is around 35.93 cents. It's actually a lot. I thought it'd be way less than that. Y'all averaging $35 an hour? That's what it said. You heard what I just Googled. That's what it came up with. It says it right here. The average hourly pay for American citizens is around $35.93, with the average weekly earnings being $1,034. I mean, okay, they're saying that Americans are making $4,000 a month. I didn't even think it was anywhere close to that. But if that's what it's saying, fair enough. So my thing is this, team. My thing is this. Regardless of whether it's $20 or $35 an hour, it still adds up to you taking a lot of time away from people that have given their lives up to get that money. So the punishment is way too light. But, you know, these guys are definitely living in a video game. Team, that's pretty much all I got for this one. I appreciate y'all. Like, I just want to come have a discussion with y'all because y'all are the best audience and y'all are really, really fun to engage with and talk to about these things. I am maildotsale, the undirected guy, and I am all the way out of here. I appreciate y'all. Hey, also, I was wondering, like, would you buy property that you know was gotten in an illegitimate way if the price was right? Or would you go and pay full price from retail? Because they be charging way too much for these products anyways, and that's why people be scamming and buying scamming products. Till next time, team.